Hello and welcome to another edition of AttractWell Office Hours. I'm Coach Ashley, joined today by founder of AttractWell, Greg Kilwine. Hey, Greg.
Hey everyone, really glad to hear today.
We're thrilled to see you guys here. Go ahead and say hello when you come into the chat. Looking forward to seeing who joins us here today. If you are interested in getting into serious content creation for the purpose of lead generation, growing your brand, expanding your opportunities for your business, you're in the right place. And if you are someone who is looking for a way to really do this efficiently, so that this doesn't take up a ton of your time, you are also in the right place. I'm going to show you some tools that we have already put together for you, an entire system, in fact, that is already pre-made and ready for you to plug into. And if you're using AttractWell, all of this is something that you have access to get started with right now. So as you're coming in, say hello, let us know where you are and maybe who you serve. What is it that you do? Always looking forward to learn more about the awesome people that we attract here to AttractWell. We are thrilled to be able to be here and offer these calls for you on Thursdays. So Greg and I are going to pop out a video. We've got a lot to get into here today. We'll come back to join you here in just a bit. I've got some training slides put together for you, as well as a download that you have probably already received via email. There's a checklist we're going to be following here today. So if you're new to content planning, then you are going to find everything that you need to get started in that checklist. And we will be going over all of its steps here today. So again, excited you guys are here. Looking forward to getting this done. All right. So today we're going to plan, just to go back up here to the top, we're going to be planning 90 days worth of content here, and we're going to, I'm going to show you all of the steps that you'll follow. You'll be working slightly differently than what I demonstrate, because generally speaking, we're probably not going to effectively plan 90 days in an hour, but what I'm going to show you inside of our hour here today, you'll be able to actually go and maybe block off an afternoon and go and get all of your content done in that period of time. So again, welcome. Thrilled to have you here today. It looks like we've got folks coming in from all over. We've got piano and voice coaches. We've got let's see, we've got Diana's launching Simple Abundant Wellness on AttractWell. Fantastic. Got a book launch coming up. Congratulations. I'm really just always so inspired and excited to see the people that are here doing good work. So let's talk about what we'll get into here today. We'll talk about why most of us are skipping out on content. I understand why, but we got to get into the real talk about what not making content on a consistent basis is doing for you. And we're going to map out our 90 days of content, email, social, and events in one system. We're going to be using a Trello swipe file and content planner along with AttractWell to make this simple. And I've got a quarterly planning process that you can repeat every 90 days. And that is what is outlined in that checklist that you guys probably received via email. We'll be talking about that here in just a bit. Now, as we're going through the call here today, the very, very smart guy that made this platform is right here on the call. So if you got questions, Greg's in the Q&A. If they have nothing to do with today's subject matter, it is totally fine. If you have questions, please feel free to ask them. And we do open up Q&A closer to the end of the training portion of this call. So as the questions are coming up, maybe about what we're talking about here today, if you could try and make sure those go into the Q&A, that'll ensure that I don't miss them because they can get missed in the chat. Now, if you're watching this as a replay, come join us sometime. We are at attractwell.com/office hours. If you would like to sign up to be on these totally free calls, you do not have to use AttractWell to take advantage of these trainings that we do. Although, of course, we hope that you will give us a shot. If you would like to work together live, if you are an AttractWell customer, you can work with me live here on these calls. We dedicate the second half of these calls to that purpose. You can reserve this as often as you like. So attractwell.com/work review gets you a spot in an upcoming Thursday office hours call. We work together in the second half of these calls when they are reserved. And if you need a hand with anything, if you would like to have someone do the work for you, that's an option as well. Attractwell.com/concierge is where you can go to learn about our team and how you can get support in this way. All right. First question we got to call out, is your content consistent, right? Do we have content at all? And if we do, is it showing up enough consistently to give us results? Here's the thing about content. It could be. if we started on this, say, 90 days ago and stayed consistent, content could be providing you leads and sales today, right? For free. And that same content could keep delivering for you for years and years on end. That's kind of the magic of doing this the right way and showing up consistently. It's going to provide you with a greater reach of opportunities, meaning you're going to be able to access opportunity on levels that you wouldn't have otherwise because of you're showing up this way. But then also just, owing to search engine optimization and things like this that we can tie into how we're presenting our content, this can help us get found for people that are actively searching for what we do, who we are, and how we can help those people that we so want to help with the work that we do. But because content is essentially a long game, a lot of us will push it aside in favor of what is coming up and needs our attention right now, or what we feel might give us the most immediate result or gratification. This is why a lot of us in the beginning wind up spending a ton of time on social media, getting into sort of a hamster wheel of engagement, trying to keep something sustainable going when social media is not sustainable on its own, right? Not without structures that move people off the platform and into your own domain, right? So the truth is, without consistent content, we aren't building long-term credibility, we aren't building trust, and we are not building the higher level opportunities that exist beyond what our connections see on social networks. Okay, so planning is the key to consistency because content is something that has to happen like clockwork for it to work, right? If you want to write blog posts and for those to generate some kind of momentum in your lead generation, we've got to show up on a regular basis. Well, life is such that it's kind of hard to show up on a regular basis for something that isn't going to pay us for 90 days or more, right? I get it. It's a little bit challenging to carve out this time if you already have very little to do something that you are fundamentally perhaps unsure of whether or not it will bring you what you're looking for, right? That's why a lot of us put this off. So planning is how we get this done. And if we plan this right, it doesn't take a ton of time and it can give us that maximum impact over time. So content done right is something that fundamentally works in the background of your business. This is a passive authority strategy. It's a passive lead generation strategy, and it's a passive engagement strategy. Basically creating a net. If you can imagine, if your business is a high wire circus act, you've got a net beneath, right? So you don't come crashing down. You've got a way to catch the things that fall off, right? Such is the case with people and their attention spans. They might like you on social media, they might pay attention today, but if they're on your list, right, and you're sending them content, they will get something from you every week. They have the attention span because of how you're showing up, right? Because if all you're doing is showing up on social, you are going to deal with all of the other distractions that that person has in their way of sitting down and taking serious what you're putting out there, right? So off of that soapbox. So content, when it's done right, is going to establish authority even when you're not in the room. It creates touch points that keep people engaged with your business and it gives you leverage, right? Opportunities that only exist when people can find you, see you, and trust you. So, planning on a quarterly basis is going to help you to align your content with things that are relevant right now to the people that you want to serve, right? So, if we're thinking about planning ahead right now, we're in the beginning of September, we're planning for Q4, right? So in September, we're planning October, November, December. What we don't want to do is realize that we should figure out what we're doing for Black Friday. If you do something for Black Friday in the month of November, God forbid, in the second week of November, right? This is the kind of thing that we plan ahead of time, and we are able to meet the moment with intention because we sat down intentionally before, essentially allowing us the opportunity to benefit from content that we needed yesterday, right? By deciding to do this 90 days ahead. So the tools we're going to use to get this done is our Trello swipe file and content planner, right? So this is something if you guys have been around our content planning systems, this is free. It is a template that you can load into your own free Trello account, and you can use this to capture and organize 90 days of content ideas. We'll also use Write with AI and AttractWell. We'll use this to generate posts, emails, and captions fast. Obviously, if you have another preferred AI, if you use a paid version of something, then you could, of course, use that as well. And then in AttractWell, you'll be scheduling your blogs, you'll be scheduling your emails. You may be linking to things like social posts. We obviously don't post our social media through AttractWell, but we'll also, if we are offering events, have our events hosted in AttractWell as well. And if you wish, you can use Canva to create graphics that support your blogs and your social media posts. Now, if this is all new to you, know that you can go back and you can get caught up, right? So, how to create and use a swipe file, including the link to this swipe file and content planner we'll be talking about here today. This is actually linked into your checklist today. The content planning, in the month of content planning and month of content publishing, these go into the finer points of what it looks like to perform each of these tasks. And if you do not yet have your AI settings modified and optimized in AttractWell, there is a training as well that we highly recommend if you're going to be using Write with AI and AttractWell to get you those optimum outputs that you're looking for. Oh, I don't want to play those. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're going to set ourselves up for success. Just to give you a heads up here at the top, we're not going to be doing all of the work here, right? But we are going to go through the system so that you know how to work this. And then what I would hope that you do after you're done here today is that you block out an afternoon or two in the month of September, however you like to work out that time, some focused hours to implement what we cover here. And when you use AI and you batch like activities, I promise you, you can plan, including scheduling to publish a whole quarter in an afternoon. I am not overstating that. I've done it. Right. So if you're using Write with AI or you're using your favorite AI tool and it understands the voice, it understands all of the intricacies. My social media needs to sound like this. My SEO for my blog needs to be optimized this way. It needs to be formatted that way, etc. If you've got those things in place and you're focusing on one type of content production at a time in blocks, you can knock all of this out and it works beautifully. Now, the goal here is for you to walk away with a system that you can repeat every 90 days. So I want you to go ahead and grab your checklist. I'm going to be talking through the phases here in this checklist via these slides that I have here on the screen so that you can really kind of see this in more bite-sized formatting. And I'm going to be kind of popping back and forth between the Get Oiling dash, or sorry, the AttractWell dashboard and the Trello board so that you can kind of see how this all plays out. Now, there are two phases here. The first one is your planning phase. What I will not show you how to do here today is to start from idea, then create a blog post, write the blog post, create the blog post, schedule the blog post, because that's the wrong order of operations, right? I would like for you to engage with this in this very deliberate way because this is designed for optimum efficiency. All right. So the first step is to choose your anchors for the fourth quarter. Now, what does that mean? What I want you to consider doing is decide on a theme per month, right? So is there a way that your content meets a season? Right? Or are there promotions that you would like to focus on per each month? Right? If there is a seasonal angle that you can use to approach, how you talk about what you do, if that applies, then that is something that you might consider doing here. Or you can choose a live event, maybe a workshop that you offer per month, and you plan around those. Plan one for each month in the fourth quarter. So one for October, November, and December. Again, this could be a class, a workshop, or a promotion that you want to drive attention to. Or if you don't do live events, then you could certainly just decide that I'm going to focus on this particular theme and basically present all of my content through the lens of that theme for that given month. So if we're not offering a live event, use that theme, and then these anchors are going to guide your content, your emails, and your social. All right, so that's our first step. Now, once we have decided for each month, right, we've got a theme, perhaps we are doing an event, we're going to plan our live events. So in Trello, and the board that you got from me, depending on when you claimed it, may or may not have an events list. Okay, so that events list, if you have it, we're going to be planning our events there. If you don't, I'll be showing you how to create one in just a moment. And we're going to use our swipe file, or we'll use our Write with AI or a little bit of both to generate ideas, titles, and descriptions for 3 events. That's one per month for the quarter. And we'll create a card in Trello for each event and give each one a date. And we'll create graphics in Canva. I'm not going to do this today, but this is something that you'll want to do once you create your events. And then we will save our event titles, dates, descriptions, and graphics to our Trello cards. So Diane, there is not a Trello board in AttractWell, but if you have the checklist that we've provided here today, there is a link there for you to claim this template Trello board that you can take into your own Trello account. And you do not need to have paid Trello to utilize this board. So you'll see something that looks kind of like this. The checklist is, Greg, are you able to pop that into the chat? Thank you. Awesome. So Greg's going to be popping that link into the chat. But this Trello board is what you'll be able to claim from that. And actually, let me just show you what you'll see and where to find this. So here we go. So you're getting this checklist here. Up here in this paragraph before you start, there is a training that's linked here about customizing your Write with AI settings in AttractWell. If you aren't using a third-party AI, highly recommend that before you do any of this, that you go ahead and follow the instructions that are here. This will take you to the blog post that has all of that information. And I believe I had a yeah, that's all here. And there's an AI setup checklist here as well on this training that actually gives you the full setup examples, just so you can make sure that you're optimally setting up your Write with AI. So anyway, your Write with AI settings here. And then what we're referencing here and what I'm about to show you is the swipe file and content planner in Trello. And if you click this link, it will take you to our blog post here about the swipe file, how to use one, sort of a breakdown of what this is. And then in here, I take you through how to get started with your swipe file. If you're logged into a Trello account, you will actually be able to claim this as um, as a board for your own Trello account. Okay. So it's not in AttractWell, but it is something that we are providing to you because uh, basically, it's what I use, and I create a lot of content often, and I've really worked up systems that work very efficiently, and they work efficiently alongside AttractWell. So this is a tool that I find indispensable for that purpose. So here we go. This Trello board does not have an events list, so I'm going to go ahead and click Add another list, and I'm going to call it Events. Or actually, for Jane's purpose, this is workshops. She offers workshops once a month. All right, so I'm going to move this over actually because I need to put it alongside my content. And again, that Trello board training is going to talk to you more, that swipe file and content planner training is going to talk to you more about how exactly to use this board and ways that you can be using this on a consistent basis. So under workshops, as mentioned, I'm going to come up with 3 workshop titles for each month. Now, I don't know what I want to do off the top of my head. Let's go talk to Write with AI about this. So I'm going to come over here in AttractWell. And just a quick note, your AI settings, you can go over here to settings under my account and open up AI settings right here. And again, that training that I've provided will give you a full walkthrough here. Last week as well, I outlined my program so I could make a sales page really quickly. This is just a really useful place to capture all the information that's necessary for your business. Now, what I'm about to show you, how I prompt this, will not work for you if your AI isn't set up accordingly. Prompt engineering is something that is worth knowing a little bit about. But if you just go and do what I'm about to show you and you don't have all this background information in your AI settings, you're not going to get a good result. But I do have the background information there. So I can say, come up with one workshop theme or idea per month for Q4 2025. And I'm going to click write and let it tell me what to do because again, this background information I have in my AI settings, it knows what I mean by workshop, and it knows that workshops are a primary thing that I offer to help convert people onto my program, right? It also knows my audience and basically my whole strategy for how I serve them. So harvesting your energy, eating for vitality, uh, grateful for you, self-care and mindset mastery, and festive fitness, moving with joy and ease. For this example that we're using, these are pretty perfect. So here's what I'm going to do. I've got all of these. The best option, I would say, is to maybe have a word processor file open on your computer somewhere. Again, highly recommend that you do this on a desktop or a laptop because, you'll have more space to do that. And remember that this is something that I really only expect you to do 4 times a year. So this is not something that you have to do all the time. I'm not trying to make you laptop bound or chair bound forever in your business. But I'm pasting these over into a document so that I can more easily grab them as I need them. So those are all copied. I'm going to come back to our Trello board here. And I've got my workshops list here. I'm going to create a card for each one. And I am going to go ahead and put the title that it's provided me here for each of these and create my cards to plan my workshops. And I'm just copying and pasting from this document that I have um, elsewhere in another window. Now I'm going to click this card, right? These are now cards that are in our list. I'm going to click this to open it. And I'm going to go ahead and give the description that AI gave me if I like it. I'm going to type that here. I'm going to save that and I'm going to go ahead and apply a date to this. When will I have this workshop in October? If I have them on the like maybe the third Thursday, um, or maybe I'm going to do the third Tuesday at 7 p.m. Excellent. I've got that saved there. You can see now the date is there. The data for kind of the theme, the information is there. I can copy all of these in and give them dates and then move on to the next phase. So it's the third Tuesday. There's the 18th, save. And I can repeat for this one. So now I have something to plan toward and to plan around, right? So there is all of that information that I got from Write with AI. Now, what I'm also going to do is come back over to my Write with AI, and I'm actually going to ask it for because if we recall here, we've created a card for each event. We've given them a date. We need to get event titles, dates, descriptions, and graphics onto these Trello cards. Another thing that you could do here as well when you're ready to do this is I could go back over here into Write with AI, and I could just go ahead and ask it for the other written assets that I need. So I would ask it to, I would paste this in here and say, come up with an event description for the following event that will be held on Zoom on October 17th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then I paste, I let it write, and then I'm going to copy that and take it back over to that card, right? I'm not going to go create the event in AttractWell yet. I'm just going to get everything onto the cards that need to be on the cards so that when I have all of the cards ready later, I can then go into AttractWell and everything that I need is on that card. Does that make sense? Right? So what I could do, I said I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to go into Canva and I'm going to create an image here. And let me see, I'm going to use it like a Facebook post as like the size of this. All right, so I'm going to use a landscape Facebook post because this will work fine for an event. And then of course you can go into, um, their magic creator. And then I'm going to use, let me see if I have under projects. Okay. Yeah, I've got blog post featured images here. So maybe this is the theme that I'll use. So here's harvesting your energy, eating for vitality. I do not like that font. Okay. I'm gonna, there we go. I could go in and obviously make this look however I want to. I can duplicate this. Basically, I'm going to go down and I'm going to create all three of these for their respective events, download those, and then let me show you. This is so cool. You're just capturing everything that you need into Trello, right? So when I have those downloaded and created, which they are now downloaded to my device, mind you, of course, they are not correct. I can go and drag them directly onto these cards. So there's that one, right? There's that one. So that's what that would look like, right? So you can actually go and attach the images that you'll need to use. I'll also go right back over to AttractWell and see what Write with AI said to in terms of creating my description. There it is. Love it. I'm going to go grab this. I will copy this and I'll head back over to my Trello board and add this description to this card. And now that I don't really need this, I'm going to paste my event description here. There we go, save, perfect. So I would repeat this process for the rest of these. And once those are done, I'm actually going to move these over here to my drafts in progress. Excuse me, because these are things that I'm actively working on. And once they're done and I have created them fully and they're ready to go, I can move them over to my scheduled and published list here. And what I can be doing in the meantime is if I have an idea in November for what I could do next fall, I could put that idea right here and it's waiting for me when it's time for me to do another planning session, right? It's pretty cool. All right, so that's events, and that's the extent of planning for events. Let's get back over into our next steps here for planning. The next thing that we need to have in place, which is really critical for everyone, is to have blog content. I recommend releasing once a week on a consistent basis. So maybe those are Mondays for you, right? So you release every Monday at 9 a.m. And so you'll choose the day of the week that you'll publish your posts, and then you'll use that swipe file, and you'll be collecting ideas there anyway for blog posts, but you'll use Write with AI to select topics for your blog posts, ensuring that you have one post per week for the quarter. And then you'll create a card in Trello for each post, give each a date for publication, and then you can generate titles, drafts, excerpts, etc. with Write with AI. And then again, you can create those Canva graphics, attach those to the Trello card. And once you have all of those done, you are fully prepped for all of your blog posts per month. Now, you will be doing this. What I'm about to show you, you're going to repeat 12, 13, 14 times, depending on how many Mondays, for instance, are in the upcoming months that you will be working. So long form content ideas, I've already got one here. I'm actually not going to be using that one, but I am going to go and share with Write with AI what my workshop is going to be that month. And then I will ask for some related themes. So I'm going to copy from my other document here. Let me drag this open a bit so you can see what I'm writing. I'm going to say, I am releasing a blog post every Monday in the month of October 2025. That way AI can actually look and affirm that we have uh, enough posts, right? Because sometimes there are 5 Mondays, there's usually 4, right? Um, Come up with one blog post, title and topic idea per week for that month, aligned with the following event that will also be held in October. I paste that information that it already gave me. I click write. Once that's done, what am I going to do? I'm going to copy what it gives me and I'm going to go create a card in Trello. Oh my goodness. Nope, that went ahead and gave me the blog post copy. Now, my Write with AI, I actually have it coded up so that it gives me exactly the like the literal code that I want to paste into an AttractWell blog post. Um, so I need to go back and tell it to do something different. Provide your output in plain text only a title and topic idea, no uh, body content. There we go. Beautiful. There we go. All right, so let me just verify here real quick. The month of October does in fact have 4 Mondays. So good to go. I'm going to take these just like I did before. I'm going to click copy to clipboard and paste this into my word processor document that I have on my screen. I'm going to go back over to my Trello board and we're going to start creating our blog post cards. So this list here in Trello is called long form content because I fully expect, if you are not interested in this already, that once you start getting into this process, you start to see that blog posts obviously are the core piece of publication on your website. But what goes into blog posts doesn't have to just be words. You could use this long form content list here to come up with ideas for and build out content for a podcast, as well as for long form video content if you wanted to do so on a YouTube channel. Right. So I'm going to use my template because there's a template card here. I'm going to create from template and use this long form content template. And I'm going to go and grab that blog post title that was provided to me by Write with AI, create that card. And again, this is just repeating the same process that I did with the events, right? Paste the title, create the card. And then I'll go back in, I'll add those dates, and then I'll want to repeat this for the next month as well, right? So we're not just dealing with October. I want you to repeat this for November and December. So by the time you're done with this particular stage of this process, you'll have at least 12, potentially 13 or 14 cards representing one per week for the quarter. And you'll have them all here in this list ready for next steps. Once you have all of those here in this list, you're going to open each one up. You're going to assign its date. This one is, so if these are Mondays in October, there's the 6th. I save that one and I go and I add the subject matter that Write with AI gave me. Pop that right in there. I'll save that. I'm checking this off here, which is good to go. And I can actually start moving these over once I've started collecting information here, is I'm going to put these into my content ideas that I'm actively working on. So as I am doing that, again, I can do this, copy and paste, add the date, save it, and move the card, right? So then I have all of these where they need to be. Then at that point, I can go back over to Write with AI and I can ask for the content, right? So our blog content, we're going to be asking for the draft of the blog post, the excerpt, and then of course you can attach your Canva graphics here as well. Now, if you are a total nerd like me and love doing this kind of thing, you can ask Write with AI to give you the code that you want. And you would put that into your AI settings, and then it would actually give you HTML code that you can attach to one of these cards and use to build out a blog post even more quickly. You don't have to go in and do all of the formatting. But essentially, what you want to make sure that you have is everything that you will be doing. You're going to be popping over here into your content ideas as you're actively working on it, because you might need to step away from what you're doing. As it's actively being worked on, you'll be moving it over here, and it's sort of an assembly line. This is where we gather ideas, right? And this is where we start assembling what we need, with this being the final place that it lands once something is scheduled and published, meaning it's in your AttractWell system. Right? So with blog posts, you're going to be able to go in and ask Write with AI or your favorite tool to come up with, and let me go ahead and just grab this here. I'm going to say, write a blog post. Now it knows how I want my blog posts written in terms of word count, and I tell it the code as well. Write a blog post for let's see, write the following blog post. Yeah, how about that? Again, it's got the instructions that I have. It's got the title. I click write, and it's going to give me back code, which is really, really cool. And I can put that into my Trello card. And then when I'm ready, I'll be able to take everything for that blog post, right? And this is kind of the point of of doing it this way is that I want you to go event, 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 right? And then blog post, blog post, blog post, blog post. And I want you to do that for the training, or sorry, for the planning process. And then for the production process as well, because this is a technical process, right? I'm going to copy this to clipboard and go put it on my Trello board. This is a technical process. And the best way for you to know what you need to do, right, is to have already done it. And maybe you just did it. So there's my code. I'll save that. It's ready for me when I am ready for it. Pretty cool. And and there, that's a draft in progress. I can move that over. So yeah, we are batching our work in this way, and that makes us very, very efficient in what we're doing. All right. So once we've got all of our blog posts planned out, we map out our weekly emails because we need to syndicate to our list and keep them fed with content every week. So we're going to create an email every week for basically every blog post. So we're going to choose a day of the week that we'll email our list. I think the day that you release your blog post is a perfectly fine day to do it. You build off of your blog post and your event content, or you use an idea from your Trello board to plan an email to your list each week for the quarter. Remember, it's for the quarter. So you'll create a card in Trello for each email, and then you'll give it a date for each broadcast. And then you'll use your Write with AI and AttractWell to write the email, making sure that it promotes that week's blog post and any upcoming events. And then all of that just gets saved right onto the Trello card. So that means that what I'm doing is I'm going into AI and I am saying, I'm going to say write an email to my list. Let's see, that talks about. Actually, I'm just going to give it what I want it to know. That shares the following blog post and promotes the upcoming event on October 17th. This will be sent on October 6th. 2025. All right, so this is the blog post. I'm copying this from the document I have. Um, and I'm going to make sure that it knows that this is a blog post. And then this is the event. And I'll come right back over here and paste that in and click write. Now, while it's doing that, I'm going to go into Trello and I'm going to use my email ideas here. Now, if I have a theme that I want to follow based on a swipe file that I've already kind of put in place here, then I could do that and tie all of these concepts together. But I'm just going to strictly use what the blog is talking about and what the event is that's coming up. So I'm going to click Create from Template and use my email ideas template. And I'm just going to go ahead and give this because I don't have the subject line yet, or maybe I do. I could go see if Write with AI has given that to me. Let me see. Oh, I love it because it's giving me the actual. Let me just go ahead and grab this code. This is great. Another thing that you can ask it to do is to, give you specific code for an email. Again, if you have a formatting that you like to follow, which I do, I can do that here as well. But I'm going to go and edit this. Um, Provide your output in plain text and provide both a subject line and the message body. All right, so I'll ask it to write again just to keep this a little simpler. So once I have this, I'm going to date the card. And the card that I'm going to be creating again is the one that correlates to this blog post. And this really allows the use of your email list to be something that isn't just sending content for the sake of content, but to also help move people toward the events that you may be promoting, right? All right, while I'm waiting for this, because it's taking a while, I'm going to answer a couple questions. This is different from the other publishing checklist, and a yes, because the other publishing checklist is really showing you how to do this month by month. I am encouraging you to do this for an entire quarter. You could theoretically use the other ones, of course, to follow. And I don't think that I really addressed events in those, because I do think that events are, as a quarterly strategy, an important thing to consider. Oh, here's my specified HTML format. That's fine. All right, so boost your postpartum energy this fall with squash and join our exclusive event. This is not a very well-written headline, but that's okay. We could go back and modify this. So I'm going to paste in that subject line here. I'm going to give it a date. Again, that's going to be the 6th of October. I send these out at 9 a.m. And I'm going to go and grab that code that I can just paste straight into an email that's pre-formatted because I have my AI set up that way. I'll paste that right in there. There we go. So that's all good. It's there. It's good to go. I'll click save and it's ready for me when I am ready for it. So I'm going to move that again over here. That's a draft that's in progress. I've got everything there to actually begin moving into AttractWell. And again, you're going to repeat that process so such that you have all of the emails for every week of the quarter. They will reference the blog post that you have published, have a link to that blog post. I would put that link on the Trello card as well. I would have a photo of some kind attached there as well, and so on. All right. What happened to the area on the Trello card at the bottom for the excerpt? So the bottom, okay. So depending on the type of Trello account you have, I think like the cards have changed since I did that initial training. So the comments and activity, I think, is what you're probably referring to. It used to be at the bottom of the card, and they've actually created sort of like a split view since I did that training previously, Denny. Okay, Randy says this is fascinating to see because I've been keeping all my content inelegantly in Google Docs. How long do you keep the Trello cards? Do you have a process of archiving? So actually, if it is something, so like an email, for instance, well, actually, no. No, generally speaking, I think that having something like this is really powerful because you've got, and I get into this in the actual dedicated Trello training, you've got labels that we should be applying to these cards, right? Such that when you are, let's just say you've been doing this for 6 months or a year, and you would like to refresh an old piece of content or promote an old piece of content or use something that you did before, you can filter your cards and you can find, oh, when did I talk about self-care? And even if it was published months ago, it's here and you know the link to it, you've got all that information, and this could be something that you republish. So I actually would not archive here. I would keep them here so that you're able to filter and find what you want. Maybe you want to update things, right? Because these cards, they stay here under scheduled and published. They just get, there's just a lot of them. And then you can search by keywords. You could search by the tags applied or the labels applied to the Trello cards here as well. Okay, so you don't have to put the content of the post and event for AI to, okay, you don't have to put the content. So for no, you don't necessarily need to put the content of the post for AI to know what to write about in the email. What I pasted there was here, let me show you this other document that I'm working on so you can see. What I posted in the Write with AI was here's what it gave me. This is my event, and it's got a brief sort of like here's what it does, right? And then here's my blog post for that week. Here's the title. Here's what it does, right? So if I give it those two things, it's going to give me, again, provided I've got my Write with AI set up appropriately, it's going to give me, more or less a pretty solid starting point. I fully expect you to go in and fill in the blanks, make this sound like you, right? And really kind of make it more effective, right? By it being in your voice. All right. The final step here, which I'm not going to get into full volume here today, is to schedule your social posts. And by schedule, I mean in your Trello board, right? So if you're using your Trello board as we prescribe in these trainings, you're going to be visiting this Trello board 5 minutes a day, a handful of times a week. Basically, whenever you see something that is inspiring to you, and you say, "Ooh, I should do something like that," right? Where you're capturing these ideas. There is no place that is more helpful or useful for you than when we are always on social media, right? So if you get an idea, we want to be putting it into these idea categories into Trello, right? And that's what all of these email ideas, social media post ideas, long form content ideas, workshop ideas, website copy and design ideas, FAQs from my website, testimonials I'm collecting, and the list goes on. It really is as much any kind of ideas that you want to collect. That's what this side of the board is for. So for social media, you're probably going to have, like for instance, like this guy right here, where I took an image off of somewhere else on the internet because I want to do a DIY class. And this is, I don't know, I think I said I was going to do like a DIY PSL drink mix or some goofy stuff, right? Like just as an example. And maybe that's something that I want to do. So I wanted to find an image that I could use as inspiration for what I create in Canva, right? Because no doubt this was created in Canva. It very much looks like it was created in Canva, and I could come up with something similar, right? So you gather those ideas here using the post templates, and then you build those out. Now, a quick note here for the social media posts. Obviously, just like I showed you before, create a card from template, create the ideas here. As you are aware that this is something that you're about to use or start working on, pop it over here so you know that it's actually something that's going into this pipeline, right? As you're actively working on it, you put it over here. As it is ready to go, you put it over there, right? But let's talk a little bit about social media. I don't think I need to explain to you how to post, but it is important for you to understand the planning process here. So we're going to use our swipe file or our Write with AI. We're going to plan 5 to 7 posts per week that mix in education, engagement, and event invitations, right? And then you're going to go in and create a card in Trello for each post and apply a date to it, right? So each business day, or maybe every day of the week, up to you. More is more where it comes to social media if you're consistent. So as often as you would like and is effective for you, create a card for each post you plan to create. You apply a date to it. And then you're going to use AI to create captions for that social post. Obviously, use Canva to generate graphics, and you can save all of the information to your Trello cards. Now, you could sit down and do this for an entire quarter, but this is actually a place where I might make an exception and say maybe do this once a month, right? Because there's a lot of this, right? This is 5 to 7 per week for 4 or 5 weeks, 3 times over, right? And social media is something that's very in the moment, right? So sometimes it does help to have a bank of ideas, and that's really what this swipe file is great for, so that when you're ready to post about subject A, you've already got an image and you've got the information, you've got the link, you've got whatever you want to put there. And I should note here as well, where it comes to putting things together to share, schedulers are really not your friend, unfortunately. If you can show up and post live, it's going to work better for you. And all the more reason to just go ahead and have all of the content that you know that you would like to share or ideas for what you'd like to share in this social media post list so that you could just open this up, grab what you want, and go post when you know it's time to post instead of wondering what the heck you're going to show up and post about because you know you need to post, right? All right. Now, the second phase of this process is publishing. So we're going to save time and headache by batching our content, meaning we're going to do everything event related. We're going to do everything blog post related. We're going to do everything email related, and so on. If Canva is needed, we create all the Canva images that we need for the events. We create all the images that we need for our blog posts. We create all the images that we need for our social, and we do these in batches because going back and forth between Trello, AttractWell, Canva, social media, Trello, AttractWell, Canva, social media, this is what burns us out and it's what wastes a ton of our time. So I want you to set up all of the events in AttractWell, save their URLs once you've created them to the Trello cards for them, right? So if I make an event, I'm going to take the link to that event and I'm going to put it on the Trello card for that event. For our blog posts, again, we're going to set up and schedule all of those blog posts and then save their URLs to the Trello cards. Again, I've planned everything there, and now here's the link to the blog post that will drop on whatever date. And then we'll schedule all of our emails the same way. And then we'll use the event and the blog URLs to create those as well, those emails, right? So the first thing we do is create events in AttractWell. You do have a checklist for this for you to follow. I obviously know short on time and I can't show you every step here, but we do walk through it and there are trainings that go through this in slower speed. The step two is going to be scheduling your blog post in AttractWell. Step three is scheduling the email broadcast in AttractWell. Of course, again, linking to the post, linking to the event, right? And just a quick refresh here on the social posts. Just remember, algorithms favor active posting. These are platforms that are designed to be addictive to their users, and they will reward those of us who help make it more addictive by putting more fresh content up and engaging with it actively, right? So that means that if you, human, right now, post what you want to say right now, you are going to get better better rank than an entity that posts on your behalf on a scheduled basis, right? So active posting is going to benefit you. So if you can, definitely try to show up and post that content that you've banked live. Aggregators, while convenient, can inhibit your reach. But if it's all you can do, right? If you are just too busy and you can't, or you don't want to hire someone to do it, then use one, right? Use an aggregator if that's what you prefer, like an auto poster. It is better to post with one than to not show up at all or to lack the consistency, right? All right, so let's get into live help and Q&A. And of course, if there's anything that you want to have me walk through or talk through, again, I am happy to get into that with the time that we have left here on the call. I know that this is a little bit of a marathon, or well, this was a sprint really for a marathon subject, but yeah, happy to address any questions. All right, Denny says, so you don't have to put the content of the post and event for AI. Oh, I already answered that. If you have time, can you put these posts on your personal Facebook page? Yeah, yeah, absolutely. If your personal Facebook page is well connected, well networked with people that you could serve, yes. I mean, the short answer is, is this the right place? Is this the right audience? Is this where people hang out? Right? So for some of us, it's going to make more sense to do this on Facebook or to have an Instagram profile. Um, for some of us, it's going to make more sense to be on LinkedIn, right? Or whatever, Telegram, Blue Sky, whatever your favorite thing is, right? Um, yeah, so wherever your people are is the social media platform you would want to be putting these posts on. And if your people are on Facebook, like the people you want to be reaching for your business, then yeah, put it on your personal page. Why save the blog post URLs to Trello? Yeah, Erica, the reason why we do that is because we're basically the purpose of these Trello cards is for you to gather every asset that is necessary for this, right? And so that helps, like, for instance, we'll have all the copy for it here. And maybe in the comments and activity, I'll paste the publish URL, mostly because later on down the road, when I am, searching for self-care, maybe I want to go find that blog post because I want to link to it easily, right? And it's also going to be helpful there again if you just need to find it, right? I need to ask Write with AI to write this email for me, and it needs to link to my blog post. And you're going to be creating 12 to 14 blog posts in one go, right? And you need to basically keep all of that organized as you're working. Because what we're not going to do is write this post and then go straight into writing the email about this post, right? We're going to write this post and then we're going to write the next post and the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one until you have 13, 14 blog posts scheduled in your AttractWell system, right? Once you have those, you're going to need to be able to quickly and in an organized way grab the published links to those so that you can write the emails. And then you're going to write email, 12 emails, 14 emails, however many Mondays or whatever day of the week you publish, right? So the reason why we're putting the URLs on the cards is because of the way that we are organizing our work, right? Such that we can truly batch and not context switch and go back and forth between all of the different things that we're using. Yes, it is. It's nice. Like when you have a AttractWell, you can do everything in one place, but it's still very important, like Denny just mentioned, for us to really try to keep the context of what we're doing with blinders on, right? Like I am only writing blog posts. I'm going to love these things. I'm going to set 45 minutes for myself. And I am going to uh, schedule, or I'm going to use AI or whatever, and I'm going to get as much done because all I have is 45 minutes. I'm going to start banging out this blog post stuff. And you're going to be faster because all you're doing is blog post stuff, right? But if you try to go blog post and then try to remember, wait, what was it that I needed to put in the email? Right? But if we're only doing blog posts because you just did a blog post, you're going to be able to do the next one faster and so on. And so you're just gathering everything on these cards so that when it's time to publish, everything that you possibly need is there. And when it's time to reference, it's also there in the same place. It's an organization thing. Um, and that is my 10,000 hours. I'm not a naturally organized person. It's my 10,000 hours expertise. All right, Yulia, how can we help?
Yes, hi Ashley. Hi
Hey,
everyone. Thank you so much. I was feeling like I'm drinking from a fire hose. Like
a
such
little
a
bit.
yeah, I wanted to like kind of like get everything because the information was really super helpful because I'm working on it. Of course, coming from the previous training about setting up the AI. And my question about that. So I set it up according to the checklist you provided. Thank you very much for that. But for some reason, the code is not showing. So when I gave the AI the code that was in the checklist, when I publish, maybe because I'm on a basic plan, maybe that's
Hmm.
why I don't have an
Ah.
option to include the code.
The code editing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I wouldn't recommend asking AI to give you a code output if you don't have the code editing feature. But if you do have the code editing feature, I mean that's my cheat code. The only reason that I am able to create and all of what we're talking about here today, I do double that for every week of the year. Right.
Mhm,
And the only way that I'm able to do that without it being the only thing that I can possibly do with my time is by creating the format, like the visual format. I want a headline and then
mhm.
this size font and then a headline and so on. Um, for me to be able to say, here's the code, here's what I want to say, make what I want to say look like this, give me the code, right?
Mhm.
Um, and when I train those outputs, that allows me to, write a blog post and I mean just like a tiny fraction of the time that it would
Mhm.
take otherwise. And same for emails, right? Like the weekly well email that you guys get on Fridays, that is a like it looks exactly the same in its format every week. And that's not because I'm going in and like, perfecting the size of the font each week. It's because I gave it the code and said, when I ask
Mhm.
for this, give it to me this way, right? So yeah, I would, if you are not planning on upgrading to a plan that has the code
Got it.
editing ability, then I
I'm
would just
planning
remove
to
that part.
upgrade. Yeah, I'm planning to upgrade, and this is my next question. Like,
Mhm.
if I wanted to put free course on a vault and then paid course and membership, can it live in one vault, or I need to have three different vaults for that?
You would have to have, so if someone is in a vault, they're going to get everything that is in that vault. And so there's no tiered experiences in vaults. It
Hmm.
truly is if you paid nothing and you're like if there's vault A and these people paid nothing and then these people paid $25 a month, they're all seeing the same thing. They're all getting the same thing. Now you could, depending on what the differentiation is between what's being offered, if everyone just gets access to the same curriculum, but people who are on the membership get calls with you, then you could use the same vault. You would just need to apply a call package, perhaps, to the people, or maybe campaigns, tags, etc., to the people who are buying the other tier of the vault. But if the experience truly, especially if the interactive, like chat experience in the vault is supposed to differ, then I would create two different vaults for that, at least.
Is there any training that you can direct me to know how
Absolutely.
to set it up? Because I would
Yeah.
like to upgrade, but I need to know like what I need.
Yeah.
Um,
So, right here, this one.
how to build. Okay.
Yeah, because it shows all of these options. And it's all step by step and it's all very brief. And let me see, I think was it next week? Let me see. Let me check I have a Trello board that I used for this. Next week. Okay, no, that's pricing and positioning next week. I do have in the pipeline a new sort of like course creation one, but that is still like gold standard. It's still pretty recent in terms of its publication. So I would definitely check that one out.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thank you guys for your great questions. Obviously, of course, if you have questions with this process, feel free, ask away in our community. We do have a Facebook group. We love to see you guys there. And again, if there's a checklist here, I think if you're faithful to the checklist and what it says, you don't really have to worry about the speed here. Just make sure that you're focusing on the order of operations and you will be able to get this done, right? Resist the urge to go from one piece to the other, right? Like I made this event and now I need to email about it. And then I made a blog and now I need to email about it and make a social post. If we're branching out that way, we're frying ourselves. But we can preserve our focus and really work in batches and get this done effectively. So thank you guys for being here and inspiring us to do this work every week. We'll be back here same time next week. And until then, have a good one. Take care, guys.